I watched him propose to her on Instagram while I was sitting alone in my apartment eating cereal at 2 a.m., and that's when I decided his betrayal would become my greatest motivation. My name is Sophia Martinez, and I live in Los Angeles, California. 30 years old, receptionist at a dental office. For 5 years, I was with Derek. We met at a beach bonfire in Santa Monica. He was everything I thought I wanted, confident, good-looking, always the center of attention. We lived together in a small apartment in Culver City, split the rent, talked about marriage, about kids, about forever. But 6 months ago, he came home on a random Thursday and said he needed space, that he wasn't sure about us anymore, that he needed to find himself. I begged him to stay, cried, pleaded, asked what I did wrong. He just looked at me with cold, distant eyes and said, "It's not you, it's me." Classic. He moved out that weekend, took his stuff, left me with the lease I couldn't afford alone, left me shattered, alone, wondering what I'd done to deserve this. And then, 3 weeks later, I saw it, an Instagram post, Derek and some girl named Vanessa, at a restaurant in Malibu. The caption, "Sometimes the right person was there all along." My hands shook, my vision blurred. He hadn't been finding himself, he'd been finding her. While I was home crying, he was already moved on, already happy, already in love with someone else. But the worst part came 2 months later, that 2 a.m. Instagram scroll, Derek on one knee, Vanessa crying happy tears, a ring that looked expensive, the caption, "She said yes, can't wait to spend forever with my soulmate." Comments flooded in. "Congratulations! So happy for you guys. You're perfect together." I sat there in the dark blue light from my phone, illuminating my tear-stained face, cereal getting soggy in the bowl. And I realized something. I'd spent 2 months mourning someone who hadn't thought about me once, who'd probably been planning this the whole time we were together, who'd used me as a placeholder until someone better came along. And I was done crying, done mourning, done being the girl he left behind. That night, I made a decision. I wasn't going to beg for closure, wasn't going to ask why I wasn't enough. I was going to become so undeniably extraordinary that his engagement would look like the biggest mistake of his life. I started the next morning, joined a gym in West Hollywood, hired a trainer named Marcus who didn't accept excuses. I showed up at 6 a.m. every single day, ran, lifted, pushed my body past every limit I thought I had. The first 2 weeks were hell. Everything hurt, but the pain felt good, felt like progress, like I was burning away the old version of myself who'd begged someone to love her. I changed my diet, meal prepped, cut out the late-night emotional eating, started drinking water like it was my job. Within 6 weeks, I'd lost 15 pounds, but more than that, I felt different, stronger, more alive. People at the gym started noticing, complimenting my progress, my discipline. But I wasn't just working on my body, I was working on my entire life. I'd been stuck as a receptionist for 3 years, comfortable, too scared to dream bigger. But that changed. I enrolled in online courses for digital marketing, spent every evening after the gym learning, certifications, portfolio building, networking on LinkedIn. Within 2 months, I landed a junior marketing coordinator position at a startup in Venice Beach. It paid $20,000 more than my receptionist job. I took it immediately. I moved out of the apartment Derek and I had shared. Too many ghosts. Found a studio in Silver Lake. Small, but mine. I decorated it myself. Plants, art, a space that reflected who I was becoming, not who I'd been. I started dressing differently, not for anyone else, for me. I invested in my wardrobe, thrift stores, vintage finds, pieces that made me feel confident. I cut my hair, dyed it a rich caramel brown with highlights, got my nails done regularly, started wearing makeup not to hide but to enhance. I looked in the mirror and saw someone I'd forgotten existed, someone powerful. 3 months into my transformation, something shifted. I wasn't thinking about Derek anymore, wasn't checking his Instagram, wasn't wondering what he was doing. I was too busy building a life I actually loved. My marketing role was going well. I'd pitched a campaign idea that the CEO loved. They ran with it. It went viral. My name was getting noticed in the company. Promotions were being discussed. I started going out again, not to find someone, just to live. I went to gallery openings in downtown LA, hiking in Runyon Canyon, beach days in Manhattan Beach, and people noticed me. Men approached me, asked for my number, but I wasn't interested. Not yet. I was too busy falling in love with myself. 6 months after Derek's engagement post, I was at a rooftop bar in West Hollywood. Work event celebrating our campaign success. I was wearing a black dress that fit perfectly, hair and makeup flawless, confident, radiant, laughing with colleagues, and I saw him, Derek. He was there with friends. No Vanessa in sight. Our eyes met across the room. His face went pale. He stared at me like he was seeing a ghost, like I was someone he didn't recognize. He walked over, nervous. Sophia? Wow, you look incredible. What are you doing here? I smiled, warm but detached. Work event. I'm in marketing now. His eyebrows shot up. Marketing? That's amazing. You look so different. So happy. I nodded. I am. Really happy, actually. He shifted uncomfortably. I've been thinking about you. About how things ended. I feel like I owe you an explanation. I held up my hand gently. Derek, you don't owe me anything. What happened was exactly what needed to happen. You leaving was the best thing that ever happened to me. His face fell. Sophia, I made a mistake. Vanessa and it's complicated. We've been fighting a lot, the engagement. I don't know if I'm ready. I've been thinking about us, about what we had. I looked at him. Really looked. This man who'd shattered me, who'd left me crying on the floor of our apartment, who'd moved on before I'd even had time to process the breakup. And I felt absolutely nothing. No anger, no pain, not even satisfaction, just indifference. Derek, I'm not interested in being your backup plan. Again, you made your choice, and honestly, I'm grateful. Because if you hadn't left, I'd still be that girl who thought she needed you to be complete. But I don't. I never did. I turned to leave. He grabbed my arm gently. Please, can we just talk? Get coffee sometime? I looked at his hand on my arm, then at his face. No, because I don't need closure from you. I already gave it to myself. I hope things work out with Vanessa. I really do. But even if they don't, I won't be waiting. I walked away, back to my celebration, my friends, my life, and I didn't look back, not once. 2 weeks later, I got promoted to senior marketing coordinator, 6-figure salary, leading my own team. My Instagram, which I'd stopped checking compulsively, was filled with my own success. Travel, work wins, fitness milestones, genuine happiness. Derek's engagement announcement eventually came down. Heard through mutual friends they'd called it off. That he'd been the one to end it. That he'd been asking about me. I blocked him on everything, not out of anger, out of necessity, because people who don't see your value the first time don't deserve a second chance. My transformation wasn't about revenge. It was about remembering who I was before I made someone else my whole world. But the fact that Derek had to watch me become extraordinary, the fact that he realized too late what he'd thrown away, that was just karma doing its job. He betrayed me. I transformed. He spiraled. I soared. And the best part, his regret meant nothing to me, because I'd already moved so far forward that his past became irrelevant. If this story hit you, smash that like button. Drop a comment telling me about your own transformation. And if you're new to Venomous Revenge, subscribe, because sometimes the best revenge is just becoming so happy that their betrayal becomes the catalyst for your best life. And I've got plenty more stories to prove it.